What's up, Sunday fam? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are revisiting Chinese drama land with Sword, Snow, Snot. I mean, Stride. This show was just awesome, but if you enjoyed this video, please do. Sword, Snow, Stride. This show surprised me. Now, I've been on the hunt for a show like Evernight and Evernight 2, a wuxia or sanxia that would just bring me back into Chinese dramas, because you've had so much of Flip giving you his Chinese dramas. I couldn't get into these shows, but this show really captivated me, and there was one thing above all of the other things that I really liked about it that just shined the most, that kept me coming back, and that was no overdub. That alone just carries the show millions and miles into orbit. Like the difference it makes.
Yeah, I mean, plus the cinematography was actually breathtaking, and there was actually original audio. Now, some of them were dubbed, but there was no overdubbing whatsoever. Sometimes you could hear footsteps in the background and shuffling from the environments that they're doing the dubbing in, and you didn't get any of this. You just got what was in the scene, and it was original, and you felt the emotions even more. And I would say the star of the show was Old Huang. His emotions really showcase his singing, his talking. Just their interactions was a little bit more emotional.
You could feel the emotion in Feng Yan, Old Huang. You could feel the emotion from everyone that's acting in this show, and it's not something that you typically get from dialogue. And if I compare it to all of the other Chinese dramas, sure, you can see the facial acting, you can see them well up if there's an emotional scene, but you never kind of get immersed fully because the dialogue is so perfectly done. And then there comes the action that completely surprised me, and it surprised me in the way that I thought that I wasn't going to like it at first, but the slow pacing of the combat, the accentuation of all of the moves, the close-ups, just it worked for this show.
Now, what I will say, it's probably the one criticism that I have of this show is that it leaves you wanting for more. There was not very much of the action sequences, but when the action sequences came, they really brought their A game, because it really showed the magical elements of their fighting. You know, it kind of brings you back to that Evernight, but Evernight had lots of action sequences and moments, but this one, it was just kind of either it was foretold or it was kind of described that they fought, and that was it. And then little bits of pieces here between different episodes where there was actual fighting, and when there was actual fighting, it was a sight to see.
And then of course there's the story, and I think this is the most endearing part about this show, outside of production stuff. And it's a very intriguing story. It's like a story of a family who for all intents and purposes has made all of the right moves throughout history, and so every time the main character is in trouble, someone comes out and is like, your mother helped me, so I'm returning the favor. And it just seems like a lot of convenience, but the story itself is very intriguing when it follows Feng Yan in his journey to finally accept his lineage and finally accept the legacy of Bei Liang or North Liang. And the mystery and intrigue that unfolds starting from the middle towards the end of the season is just what keeps me coming back and watching it.
Yeah, I really loved it. I felt like this was the classic wuxia story. It was very much reminiscent of an RPG game where you start from the very bottom and rise your way to the top. You go through these journeys and adventures, you meet new people, you make allies, you make enemies, and then at the very end, you meet that one foe or that one foil that's trying to ruin all of your gains. And at the end of it all, it was very satisfying. It just felt like you were on this journey with him from the very start all the way to the end, and you achieved your goals just like he did.
Sword, Snow, Stride serves as a vessel for me to return to loving Chinese dramas in 2022. And if you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely see it. It's on WeTV or Tencent Video, and it might come to Viki, it might come to other platforms. Oh, it is on Viki, so if you want to check it out, definitely watch it on Viki. But as of right now, we are going to go a little bit into spoiler territory, so if you have seen it, stick around. We'll be talking about the ending, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come right back.
But before that, let's give it a final grade. What would you give Sword, Snow, Stride?
I would give it an A.
An A. I would agree with that. I was teetering between an A- and an A, but I just didn't think it reached the A+ category.
I think it has potential to go to A+, and we'll talk about this in our spoilers. So, spoiler alert for the end and the whole on the whole season of Sword, Snow, and Stride. So,
Sword, Snow, and Stride.
Yeah. So I think that we are getting towards the pinnacle of where we need to see the action go in terms of, for me, to rate the combat higher and to rate the like cultivation aspect higher, to give it an A+.
Yeah.
Because we've only met a few people who are in the Immortal on Earth realm. Right. We've only met a few people who have fought within those constraints.
Yeah.
But the main character is Feng Yun, right? And he hasn't reached any kind of pinnacle yet. He's still learning. And I feel like season 2, like they just got done fighting Han Diao-se, and he needed everyone. He needed Chen Shibao, he needed his sisters, and he needed Huang Man-er, his brother.
Yeah.
He needed everyone to fight this guy.
Yes.
And I feel like season 2, should they go into it, I'm hoping they go into it. I feel like in season 2, you know, they need to explore more his cultivation and him reaching higher heights and higher realms, and so that we don't have to kind of depend on Lee Chung-gang to show us like all the time snakes and sleeves, you know?
Snakes and sleeves.
We just need to see Feng Yan do some stuff.
The highlight for me was definitely that battle between Lee Chung-gang and Wang Shangxi. When they traveled to Woody City, I was just like, I hope that they don't just like talk about the fight and show us some stuff, but they proceeded to go over the ocean and fight over the ocean. Lee Chung-gang with his snakes and sleeves and parting the heavens, and then Wang Shangxi and the water rising in tidal waves. I was just like, they need to do this more. Like, they need to do this over and over and over again, just like Evernight, and just go over the top. I mean, I appreciate the spaghetti western approach that they had in this drama. It was very much more character-driven and story-driven. But man, when those moments happen, it's breathtaking, and I'm just like off my seat with excitement.
Yeah, that part was very, very exciting. I think the most hype moment was when Lee Chung-gang finally kind of revealed he had mastered sword intent, and like he picked up all the broken shards of swords that Shang-Chi had broken, and then combined it into one massive sword. I was like, this is where we need to be. So in season 2, definitely for sure, when Feng Yan is reaching those pinnacle realms in cultivation, the fights definitely need to reflect that kind of absurdity.
And so now we're left wanting for more for season 2. What's going to happen? They travel back north to find out who the conspirators are and who is behind his mother's assassination. And so I agree with you. Like, I think they need to like really cultivate his martial arts, you know, where, like, how many realms he's going to achieve, and like more fighting. We just want more fighting.
Absolutely. And in the ending, after they defeat Dao Se, they realize, or they uncover, that more of the perpetrators behind his mother's assassination lies in Beimang. And there's only one person that we know nothing about from Beimang. She is a swordsman of Beimang, and that is Pe He. What's her name?
Pe He.
Pe He?
Pe He.
A few moments later.
And there's only one person we know absolutely nothing about, and she is from Beimang. She is a swordsman of Beimang, Pu She. And like, she's in the beginning, she makes friends with Feng Yan, and then she's like, let me get into the pavilion, I got some books to read. And then she shows up at the end, she's like, oh yeah, how are you treating my swords? Right? And then we don't get anything else with her, and that's something I want more of in season 2, who she is and how involved she is with this kind of conspiracy from Beimang.
Well, in any case, that is it for us. Thank you so much for stopping by. Leave your comments in the section below. What are you thinking about, and what are you looking forward to if season 2 transpires? Like, we still don't know. There's no confirmation whether season 2 is happening. I know the show has received lots of criticism, but also a lot of praise, including from us. We loved Sword Snow Stride. Leave your comments in the section below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that bell so you know when you're notified when you're Leave us a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tap that bell so you know when we post new videos. And once again, this is what we're watching this Sunday. We'll see you next time. 감당할 수 없는 마음들이 날 힘들게 해요. 내게 다가와줘. 날 바라봐줘. 날 사랑해줘. 너 하나뿐이야.